Hey, it's Mark. I wanted to address the situation in Ukraine really quickly as it pertains to Bitcoin. I understand that some of you guys are wondering about my viewpoint on the actual conflict itself. I know better, and I know that there's nothing I can say that's not going to make somebody mad. And at the end of the day, yeah, I mean, people are generally are asking about crypto. So, shut up, Mark. Nobody wants to hear what you think about geopolitics, about war, peace, or whatever. Tell me about crypto. So I'll just tell you about crypto. And at some point, once things calm down, when things die down, and maybe if I get to the point where I feel like I'm established enough that I can take the unsubscribes, the hatred, and all the comments that people are going to get about it, then maybe I'll start talking a little bit more about global politics. Every once in a while, I mention COVID because I know it's a macro event. I mention it in my monthly. Usually, it's just a few sentences. I've only done it a few times. Every single time, people go like crazy about it, and I just don't want to. I mean, look, human tragedy. When it comes to human tragedy, I have my own thoughts about that, and I'm going to keep that separate from what this video is about, which is about uh, what the Ukraine conflict might have, how that might affect crypto. As far as price go up, totally irrelevant. Totally irrelevant. This is so much bigger than that. It is so much bigger than that. And at the end of the day, whether or not the price goes up has nothing to do with conflict, war, peace. I talked about this in my monthly update. It is solely a matter of whether or not people think that they will be better off having money as Bitcoin, putting wealth, money, time, effort, and other things, not just Bitcoin, all the other cryptocurrencies. Do people feel like they're going to be better off? And if they do it and then they end up better off, other people will decide, oh, well, I might be better off if I do this as well. And so that's kind of how you can simplify it as just value, right? If there's value and then it creates a network effect, things will be fine. But as far as, but there's something bigger going on here. And it's really fundamental to, I think, the evolution of finance and money and the flows of money in the 21st century, which is, and I just think about it this way. You have two sides of the same conflict who are both finding ways to go beyond the legacy financial system, that legacy financial system that the West has created. Basically, it has its roots in post-World War II, and it's persisted for a long time. It's very effective in a lot of ways. It's very good in a lot of ways. It's bad in some ways too, as with everything in life. And so there are some weaknesses that are being addressed by cryptocurrency. We'll see how it shakes out in the end. But you have to recognize that even just by Ukraine and Russia are both using crypto in different ways, but they're using crypto to change the financial dynamic around the conflict in each of their own favor. So what happens when they succeed? What other ideas come from that? What inspiration does that have for other people, policymakers, people in power, developers? We know that there are a lot of people who they're very sympathetic to Ukraine. And so what happens now? You have people in Ukraine, they're starting to use crypto. They're accepting Bitcoin donations. They're accepting stablecoin donations, contributions. Well, what about services that pop up to make it easier for the Ukrainians to use this technology? Make it easier for the Ukrainians and other people who want to also contribute, make it easier for them to do that. And then you start to build this whole new infrastructure that's already underway. And it goes beyond Web3. It goes beyond DeFi, because you're talking about real operational, people thinking about the operational aspects, how to make this stuff real, how to make it not cost $200 to run a single smart contract operation, how to not force people to go into these other systems that are great. They're great. They're on their own terms, but they balkanize and segment and fragment the economies that are being created with cryptocurrency. And somebody solves that problem, and somebody solves another problem. And this becomes really the first iteration of a truly valid and effective implementation of cryptocurrency. And that could happen. That could happen because the necessity is there and an urgency is there in a way that really hasn't existed yet. That's going to be, I think, the story that I'm going to be paying attention to, and it's going to play out over months and years. But that is, I think, what, if anything, is going to be worth taking away from this moment. And if cryptocurrency can deliver on its promise, the promise that a lot of people have, that now you have a form of money that is uncensorable, all the tools of finance that was historically for hundreds of years reserved for the rich, the powerful, and the well-organized and the well-connected. And now every single person has the power of all those tools of finance. They have them in their hands. They have them on their cell phone. They have them on their laptop. If that succeeds, it'll change everything. Relax and enjoy the ride.